Green light, and away we go for the qualifying segment here for the Gallagher Grand Prix. We are back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, dubbed the racing capital of the world. First group, Felix Rosenquist, Alexander Rossi, Scott McLaughlin, Pato O'Ward, Devlin DeFrancesco, Jack Harvey, Kyle Kirkwood in the mix as well. Further down as well, the next side, it's all going to be good with David Malukas, Santino Ferrucci, Will Power, Colton Herter, Joseph Newgarden and Stingray Robb. Let's check in with our NBC team and then we're ready to go for the session.
Different setups. One setup seems to work better on the reds, one setup works better on the blacks, and I think it's probably a little too early to know exactly where you want to be here in terms of which tire you're going to run and for how many laps, because the red tires are very limited in supply. 4 sets total for the weekend, effectively 3 that you can use in the race, and you probably want to consider how many laps you put on the reds here in qualifying.
Townsend, you mentioned Arrow McLaren, the Chevrolet-powered team. With more on them, here's Dylan Welsh.
Well, they were fast this morning, and they expected to be pretty confident about what they had coming in here to this weekend. All 3 McLaren cars in the top 8 in this practice session. The middle of the 3 was Alexander Rossi in the 4th position in practice. Talked to Brian Barnhart, his strategist, a bit ago, and he said, look, this is a really tough qualifying group, but we're going to have to beat all these guys tomorrow anyway, so we may as well try and bury them here in qualifying and make their job even that much tougher. So they're really confident about their race car across the board, but especially on Rossi's car. Feel like they've got a really good platform underneath them. And Alex is going to try and go for his first Indy road course pole this afternoon, Kevin.
Dylan, Team Penske was not particularly quick. Scott McLaughlin found a lap at the end of the session, but the Hitachi team, number 2, Joseph Newgarden, we talked with him at the end of the first practice, and he said, we just had a bad session. They were 24th. And Will Power has won this race 5 times on the road course, so at least a road course race here, and a 6-time pole sitter, was only 20th. And then when I walked up to chat with him before the start of this session, he had a frantic look on his face. Remember what happened at the start of the Nashville race. These are his earbud cases. Yes, he does have both here. And this is what happened in Nashville last week when he couldn't find either one of his pair and had to scramble, and he got in the car late. Well, one of them fell off and fell below the pit stand here, and he couldn't find it. So the backup was there, but it just wasn't ideal, and he was laughing about it, and it was essentially not again. As far as to his issues, he said, we had a crossweight problem, we had a bad damper, we think we're sorted, but we just don't know.
That's the 5-time winner on this Indy road course. Will Power in the Verizon Chevy. Wow.
Yeah, it's looking good right now as well as the session is underway. We're just waiting for Josh T to come to the commentary box. It's the hottest day so far in the UK. I was ice skating earlier on and haven't changed out of a jumper. It's fine outside, but inside the commentary box, it is hot, hot, hot. At least I changed my trousers as well from black to cream, so at least that's something to go on as well. But session is underway. As we take a look, Will Power coming through. So it's O'Ward at the moment on top from Power, McLaughlin, Kirkwood, Malukas, Newgarden in the top 6. Rossi now goes to the top on a 1:10.550.8. So a better delta time coming between the 2 of them. Hello to Adam, says, hi Josh, can't join you tomorrow for the IndyCar race. Have an awesome weekend. You too. Hello to Cole watching on as well. Hello everybody. Always nice having everybody ready to go in this, hopefully to be an amazing weekend. It's a double-header, of course. If you're new here, it's a double-header weekend with IndyCar and NASCAR both running on the road course here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But there is hope that next year we'll be back on the Brickyard 400 for NASCAR as well, with no second Grand Prix of Indy yet confirmed for next season. But we are back here a couple of months on for the month of May when Joseph Newgarden took the championship crown for the Indy 500. Now we're back here as well on the road course for the what used to be the Harvest Festival Grand Prix. It was later on in the year. Now it's the Gallagher Grand Prix, our second one of the season. On board with Kyle Kirkwood in the Andretti Autosport to the braking zone at the back of the track. It's a weird circuit, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as well on the road course. It intertwines with several other aspects of the circuit, but it's not looking too bad. So take a look at battle screens. Let's go over to the pit lane.
His teammate here on screen, Devlin DeFrancesco, had a pretty solid practice session. We see him jump up into P2, so that form from practice continuing for the driver of the 29.
Absolutely. I saw Devlin DiFrancesco just a few minutes ago through the paddock, and there was a noticeable bounce in his step. He was
good,
quickest of the Andretti drivers. There was no explanation other than, yeah, we're pretty good and we're fast. And I think that's a nice marker of progress for DiFrancesco, that he's setting the pace, setting the tone with the team right now, and he's backing it up. As you said, Diff, so far just less than a tenth, really 500ths off of Alexander Rossi's quick time.
To the point that was made with the conversation with Brian Barnhart about the groups, this is definitely a stacked group right now. You look at who's out on the outside looking in.
And Hinch, that's a great point, because this guy is on the outside looking in. This guy being Joseph Newgarden, championship contender, the only one who can really take the fight to Alex Palou. And if he doesn't make the fast 12, A, he is going to be extremely frustrated. B, it makes tomorrow an awfully hard day.
So 4.5 minutes.
Really does make it, and at the moment as well, not looking too great. Omi's joined the box in voice as well. I don't know if he's got a mic on or anything, but I want to say hi, Omi. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Omi. Hope you're doing well. You doing well?
Yep, doing well. Just popped in for a minute.
Pleasure to have you. Gavin says, morning, Josh. -3 down here in Christchurch, but it's 4:30 a.m. I'd much rather take that. Right now it is 24 degrees in where I am in the UK, and there's Omi gone. It's very, very hot as well. Pit road.
He's made 4 fast sixes here over his career, including just this past May. So talked with him just a little bit ago. He said, I'm pretty optimistic, not taking anything for granted about what we've done here in the past. In fact, he was the only Rahal driver to do the track walk this week. So admittedly that, feels like this is a pretty good opportunity for them, but doesn't want to rest on their laurels too much, knows that they've got a lot of work to do to keep up with everybody else who's made improvements between practice 1 and now, Kevin.
As you guys in the booth have talked about, it's so very close here because there's so much information. When I talked with Joseph Newgarden yesterday, who you see who's just come in from his primary run, and we'll go out on the alternates in just a moment, he felt like they were pretty close back in May. A mistimed yellow kept him from advancing in qualifying, and maybe if all had gone well with pit stops, they could have been top 3, maybe top 5. He thought they knew where they were deficient, but as we talked about, they were not good in the first practice session. They've done their first run, still trying to learn through this session. Coming in, even going from the blacks to the reds, didn't want any changes on the car. They're going to leave it where it is, and they think and hope they have gone the right direction.
Hinch, what?
Fingers crossed they have gone in the right direction, because that's the last thing we need is a different strategy, a different experience of the car being delted in. But the car's heading straight out there then. Rossi top 110.551. DiFrancesco in second. Harvey O'Ward Power Herter. Now, to explain the qualifying groups, if you're new, 2 groups as well go out first. That's round 1 of qualifying, where we'll have one group of 12, then another group of 12 going out on the circuit. Top 6 from each go through. They become the top 12 shootout for round 2 of qualifying. And then we'll whip that down to the Firestone Fast 6, a 6-minute shootout out on the circuit as well to go towards the end, and we'll see where we go from there. Newgarden into turns 13 and 14, the last couple on this circuit. He's going to go for another control lap as well, and over the alternative line. So this is a push lap from Joseph Newgarden. It starts in a braking zone, which isn't always that great an idea. O'Ward is improving by 0.028 of a second as Newgarden barrels into turn 1. Late on the brakes, flicks the car in, nicely, easily controlled as well. Just a reminder, this weekend we have got for you IndyCar tomorrow and the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship coming to you from Knock Hill. So it's a nice, calm weekend in terms of what to join us for. Tomorrow morning, it's practice and qualifying for touring cars. The race in the afternoon, in the early evening for the IndyCar at IMS. And then Sunday, 3 races, 20 minutes each, nice and easy for you. That will be for the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship at Knock Hill. I'm back in the commentary box for that one as well. We'll need a new commentary team for that one. Looking at that, because Josh team might not be back to race 3, so I think Omi's stepping up as well. I don't know where Jess is at the moment. Picking Scotty Mack to win for the pole for IndyCar race, says Adam. Well, Scotty Mack is P7 at the moment, but he is improving 0.1 of a second faster. So he's a 10th out. Across the line comes Ferrucci on the alternative time. Does he improve? Oh, goes 8th fastest, 1:10.88.72. So not a bad time there, as we're already gearing up to the end of the first part of qualifying for the Grand Prix of Indy, the Gallagher Grand Prix. And McLaughlin's gone through. McLaughlin at 1:10.68.21 and is improving on his secondary lap. He'll go for one more. Devlin DiFrancesco in the Andretti Autosports. Never said Avalanche Andretti there from Formula E, but Devlin DiFrancesco up to first position, 1:10.28.05. Newgarden riding the curbs nicely. And Newgarden at the moment, who needs maximum championship protagonization here in qualifying, is 13th and last at the moment as he comes across the line. He goes 5th as the checkered flag comes out here in part 1 of qualifying. Power, McLaughlin, Herter goes through, he's 5th. That pushes Newgarden out. Newgarden does not advance past Group 1 of qualifying. Now that is a big surprise. Power and McLaughlin trouble. Now the Penske's this morning in practice had trouble. They were the slowest in the field at their home circuit. They just can't seem to get it working. I say home circuit because IMS is owned by the captain, Roger Penske. Power improves only to 8th. McLaughlin's not doing too bad behind him. He's a 10th up. He might just get ahead of Herter for P6. Does Mack go through? Yes. Scotty Mack goes through into 4th position. The only Penske to improve from that first group of qualifying. Will Power is out and Joseph Newgarden is out. 2 former Indianapolis 500 winners. The latter coming in this year, just in the month of May. The month of August is not being his friend. Newgarden is out of qualifying. And Herter got bumped to the last second too, so the 6 going through. Devlin DiFrancesco, Jack Harvey, Pato O'Ward, Scott McLaughlin, Alexander Rossi and Felix Rosenquist. Out of qualifying though, Herter, Kirkwood, Power, Newgarden, Ferrucci, Malukas and Robb. That's Group 1 done. Group 2 will be up shortly. Let's hand over back to NBC.
Ow. What a crazy Q1 Group 1.
Like I said, it was just such a stat cast in that first group.
And big salute to Arrow McLaren to get all 3 in like that in a fiercely competitive group.
Yeah, that's flexing some muscle for sure from the McLaren group. Like you say, 3 out of them, 2 Andretti's didn't get in, 2 Penske's didn't get in.
And for Jack Harvey to be right up there ahead of 3 Arrow McLarens and the very best Team Penske car, well done to the driver of the 30. That's a big deal for Jack Harvey, as these drivers shockingly don't make it through, including Malukas. That's another one I would have expected to be up there.
Yeah, Firestone Fast 6 last time out in Nashville. It's tough to decide which the biggest story is in this group. There's a lot of cases to be made.
At least there's group therapy available for 6 or 7 of those drivers.
Hey, we've got to go and talk to Devlin DiFrancesco before qualifying every time.
Yeah.
We brought him some magic.
Did a great job.
There he is in the True Bar Honda.
Clearly.
Well, he was honest with us. He felt good. He told us that he had some confidence.
Clearly empowered, coming off a strong weekend in the Woo car in Nashville. And you know what he learned there, Div?
If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man.
No truer words.
Woo! You got to feel for that guy. Look, the expression says it all. The body language says it all. He's the closest to Palou in the championship, and he is not happy.
And that's what I was just about to say. Part of it is the realization that this is a must-win situation for Joseph in the 2 car. And from where he's starting, it makes it a lot tougher. Obviously, we don't know how Palou's going to fare in Group 2 here. But based on practice, you got to think he's at least getting out of Q1, which makes the job for Joseph Newgarden, the 2 team, that much harder.
It isn't one of Joseph's best tracks. He has won, but overall, over the course of his career, this place has not been overly kind to him. And
look at the similarity, guys, between the body language of the 2 teammates. Will Power and Newgarden going through the exact same emotion right now.
Yeah, defending series champion on the right, and a guy on the left who'd like to be a 3-time champion, but what just transpired has made his quest ever so difficult. Let's head to the pits.
Let's catch up with Kyle Kirkwood, who is going to start 15th tomorrow. So I know you weren't thrilled with the balance after practice, but what were you battling here?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of threw the kitchen sink at it after practice 1, trying to find something, kind of going back.
kind of went back to our car from the previous weekend we were here. And we just missed the balance a little bit, I think. It really wasn't that the car was bad. It's just because we did so many changes that we might have just missed the balance a little bit. So if we would have nailed that down, I think we would have been right there. But obviously, Devin was P1, so that car was pretty quick. There are some differences between our cars, but yeah, so, I mean, it's just one of these weekends, right, where you only get one practice session. You got to figure it out in one, and we didn't really have it figured out. So hopefully with this and with warm-up, we'll actually have a good race car.
Thanks, Kyle.
Now you wonder if actually, depending on how this plays out, if this does become a red race, as we've seen it in the past, drivers that don't make it out of Q1 will have 2 sticker sets that they can use in the race. That can be an advantage. It's tough. I mean, track position's always king.
Yeah.
But you got to look for the silver linings if you're a Kyle Kirkwood or Colin Herta, Joseph Newgarden.
I'll tell you, when we first started racing here on the road course, you look at this layout with this long full throttle section out through turns 13 and 14 and then down the front straightaway, and you thought, oh, it really doesn't matter where you start here. You're going to be able to draft yourself up so easily, and good cars will go to the front. But to your point, James, it's really proven to be quite the opposite. That qualifying critical here, that the dirty, turbulent air matters a lot. You just can't stay that close sometimes. Push to pass has helped that a little bit, but with this session coming up, you've got some serious muscle in this one too. Guys like Ray Hall and Lundgaard that were super quick in practice and feel like they have great race cars.
You know,
Group 2 is underway then. Just heading out onto the circuit, everyone getting all set up. So the 10 minutes have started, which means the clock begins to tick down. That is path 6, not the one we need to be seeing, because that is Helio Castroneves, who just a couple of hours ago announced his retirement from full-time IndyCar driving going into the 2024 season. He will only compete in the Indianapolis 500s. He will not be doing the full season, so he's leaving Meyer-Shank Racing. He will be replaced by Tom Blomqvist, who has been here this weekend, but he is not in the car. Linus Lundqvist is once again in for Simon Pangio and Meyer-Shank Racing, so it's always going to be a lot of fun there. And joining me now in the commentary box to get thoughts on that is Josh T. Josh, bye-bye Helio, hello Tom, and really it's all changed, but still no Simon Pagino, which is a weird lineup going forward, but hello.
Hello, yeah, I'm quite shocked by that flurry of news there. Castroneves, well, he was going to retire soon. Did I think it was going to be this year? No. Did I think he might have had a year gap and like leave for next season and then come back for 2025? Maybe with the way that Linus Lundqvist has happened. But so I was getting ready to say, well, that literally confirms that Linus Lundqvist will be alongside Simon Pagino next year. But then Tom Blomqvist comes in and says hello. So does that mean we'll have Blomqvist and Lundqvist?
No, it's Tom Blomqvist and Simon Pagino.
Cool, so Simon Pagino has been confirmed, yes?
As far as I know, he's still got a contract with them all, and that hasn't changed.
Cool.
Depending on his medical status, that's another factor. But what it was announced today was Simon Pagino and Tom Blomqvist going in, and not a lot of people were happy about that. There's Graham Rahal, who topped practice 1 earlier on. The IndyCar radio team took you through it, and they'll take you through practice 2 this afternoon, well, this evening actually as well. On the call tomorrow morning, you can join us, Touring Car Practice 1 and 2 with IndyCar Radio. Then we'll be back for qualifying, and then race 1, 2 and 3 live on Sunday. Nice light weekend, so do join us on YouTube for the touring cars this weekend, because if you're feeling a bit low of not having any sport on a Sunday, a 20-minute blast race 3 times across the space of 8 hours, it's absolutely fantastic. So it's well worth joining for, and it's at Knock Hill, an uphill circuit where the cars bounce over everything. It's brilliant. Delta times coming in. Palou, Lundgaard, Rahal, Castroneves, Lundqvist and Rosenqvist. They're the 6 so far. No, Grosjean goes through. So Grosjean's got P6. Then it's Eilert, Hanare, VK, Canapino, Pedersen, Dixon, Armstrong, Ericsson coming in too. So the changes are coming.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea in any IndyCar news today. All I know is that what's happening with Nick de Vries, and he's talked about his future, because I was at Beauty all day, so...
You were, yes.
Have you been there, Josh?
No. It's one of the places I haven't been.
It's so good.
Is it? Oh, I'll go then. I'll note it down on the places to go and the things to do. Right now, I'm just trying not to sweat in the commentary box. It's massively hot. I was ice skating this morning, and I'm still wearing a jumper.
25 degrees today.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, here's the thing. It was okay this morning. It was okay. It was warm, but it was okay. Went in ice skating 9:30, came out 11:30. So hot. But and then it's okay outside. I've changed from black trousers to the cream trousers. Because obviously you're not going to wear cream on ice, are you? You're going to wear black and all that lot. So if you fall. I didn't fall. Well, I say I didn't fall. I didn't fall at all. I had to avoidantly slip at one point. Because, yeah, somebody went down. So, yeah, that was difficult. But it was funny. And I was a lot better than I remembered it. Couldn't do any tricks, though. But it was fun. Did a couple of surprising spins. I want to go back actually. It was so much fun. Anyway, enough about ice skating. Back to the action. Because Delta times are coming in, but many of them are coming into the pit lane after the first runs. Grosjean might just try and continue, but he's 5th fastest and he's 2/10 down. Dixon's backed off his lap time. So is Benjamin Pedersen as well. So that's it. Session at the moment suspended. We'll throw it back over to the NBC team as they'll go into the pit lane here for some more drivers, and then they'll come out for another run. Then we'll be into the Firestone Fast 12, and then into the final part, the Fast 6, back to pit road.
Which might be concerning that he did not advance. We're trying to get the car off the floor a little bit, just trying to find something. We're just not there, so we're hoping. So far on the primary run, not bad. See what they can do to move forward when they go to the alternates.
So 4.5 minutes to go. Q1, Group 2, and everybody's coming in for that typical and traditional change. Quick check-in with the team, change of tyres, send them back out, and hopefully 2 flying laps to get yourself in that top 50% here. Top 6, I should say, pardon me. Let's talk more about Graham Rahal, who had the speed earlier this morning.
Yeah, they were fastest in practice. Graham not quite as happy today. Here was his most recent feedback to the pit stand.
My rear is just not there at all. Power down even. Also knows that the brake pedal is damn near to the floor. I don't know what's happening with that thing.
That's not good. Graham, at the end of practice 1, we overheard him on the stand talking about going back and making sure they bled the brakes. So that would imply that he had a long or a soft brake pedal in that practice session, and now he's still fighting issues. That's super frustrating if you feel like the balance of your race car is good, and then you're always, it seems like you're chasing something. You'll get an anomaly like the brakes that you should be taken for granted, and what you want is that nice, firm, rock-hard pedal on initial contact, especially for the brake zones in 1 and 7 here.
And everything that you do through a corner starts with the second you hit the brakes. The moment you hit the brakes, how the car reacts, behaves, that sets you up for the rest of the corner. So if you're not happy as a driver with the feel of the brake pedal, the stopping of the car, it's going to throw you off for the rest of the corner, every corner. It really is detrimental to lap time.
Alex Palou in the American Legion car.
I was going to say, it's like in any sport. It's that first completion. It's that first .1 in tennis. It's that first putt sank on the golf course, Diff. You want the confidence out of the gate, and the brake pedal, even on your outlap, if it's not giving you that's going to send you for fits if you're Graham Rahal. Let's learn more about the driver of the Be The One car. Kep?
So Hinch and I were talking with Alex Palou yesterday with a small group, and someone asked him if he's now a finished product like a Scott Dixon, and he just kind of laughed. He said, no, I'm not Scott Dixon, but I am better than I was before, and maybe last year I thought after winning that championship that I was pretty much complete, but what he's learned is from watching Scott Dixon, you're never complete. You can always get better, and he still sees things that is he's going to improve on as he moves forward.
Well, Townsend likes to call him the professor of precision.
Well, Rahal not too precise at the last corner there, but he stays in 7th position. Romain Grosjean has jumped up to top honours, a 1:10.3121. And this, of course, is the site where Romain Grosjean got his first ever pole position in IndyCar, in just his third race back in 2021. I want to say one on that board as well. He took it here, round 3 of the season, the Gallagher Grand Prix, and it was a momentous day for him in the championship. We commentated on that session as well. It was a very interesting one. Unfortunately, it did not come to pass that he took her in. He's had multiple second places, but never a victory at IndyCar. Maybe that'll change. Ray Hall across the line there with a minute 12 to go. He's 4.5 tenths up on the Delta time, and yeah, Ray Hall goes into 3rd place. So from a car, Josh, that had no performance at this track in both the road course and the oval course, Ray Hall specifically, in May, it's turned it around brilliantly.
Yeah, definitely. But going back to what you said with Romain Grosjean, is Romain Grosjean becoming the bridesmaid of IndyCar?
I think he is, isn't he? A bit like what we've had with Lotterer. Yeah, Alexander Lotterer. Grosjean has entered the pit lane, but it was the man who was on pole position at this very event a few months ago who is taking it again. Lundgaard on top, 1:10.0031. Dixon across the line with 13 seconds to go. Dixon only goes 7th. He doesn't make it. Palou, the championship leader, is in 4th place. And a big slide there from Dixon. And he was pushing on another lap. That might be it done. Dixon might not improve. Checkered flag is out. Lundgaard, Rahal. Grosjean, Castro Neves goes 4th. Palou 5th. Armstrong in 6th. But multiple improving in that first sector delta time. As we take a look at Venus VK, 9th fastest at the moment, but up by 1/10 of a second. It's getting to that zone once more where it just doesn't know what's going on. That's the problem. I don't think they're going to get through. I really don't.
Yeah, but if Lundqvist doesn't get a seat in 24, I think there'll definitely be a seat for him waiting in 2025.
Oh yeah, as soon as Passion decides to leave, yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely a seat waiting for Linus Lundqvist. And VK's having a slide. Armstrong's not improving. Dixon is. Across the line comes VK. And he, with that slide, has cost himself a shot in the fast 12. Dixon doesn't improve. Nobody's improving. That's it. Lundqvist goes 7th. A slight improvement, but that's it. And look at Chip Ganassi's face. He knows what it's cost. Palou is 5th. Armstrong is 6th. But it is Dixon and Ericsson out with an 8th and 9th position. Only 2 of the 4 cars for Chip Ganassi have gone through. And Rahal does it once more, but the 6 going through. Lundqvist, Rahal, I'm going to try that again. It's going to be, because the timing screen's just changed around with the Lunds. It's Lundgaard, followed by Rahal, Grosjean, Castro Neves, Palou and Armstrong. They're the 6. Out, Lundqvist, Dixon, Ericsson, VK, Hunter Ray, Canapino, Ilott and Pedersen out of the running order. So we've got our back markers in the race for tomorrow. Now we're going to set the front 6 rows of the grid with the Firestone Fast 12 and the Firestone Fast 6. That's coming up shortly. We'll be back. I'll hand over to IndyCar Radio.
Teammate Graham Rahal, but RLL, like we've gotten used to saying through the middle part of this season, they've rolled off the truck and they come ready to fight for another race win this year.
On road and street courses, that's Elio's first Fast 12.
There you go. I was just going to give him praise. What a performance from Elio Castro Neves and MSR. It looks like Lundqvist has helped, up the game a little bit. He's put some pressure on him. And these are the cars that do not make it. You see the starting positions on the side there. 16th.
Canapino ahead of Callum Ilott in that session. That doesn't happen very often. The 2 drivers separated by about 500ths. But for Agustin Canapino, 24th. But in terms of where he sits relative to his highly rated teammate, that's progress.
The problem is the man he's battling for Rookie of the Year, Marcus Armstrong, just made it through into Q2. He was 6th in that session. So that battle's going to keep raging on.
Remember, there's one more oval left at Worldwide Technology Raceway where Marcus Armstrong will sit out and give Canapino another chance to grab more points. But that's not here. Let's talk more about the Brickyard. Let's hear from Scott Dixon.
Well, it's been a strange day. A lot of heavyweights not advancing into round 2. What challenges were you facing, Scott?
Mostly just understeer there. The car felt pretty decent on the primaries, and then yeah, kind of maybe misjudged the go lap, and then kind of got off sequence there a little bit. And towards the end there, I was just really struggled to get the car rotated in 4, and then also in 10. I was actually up, I think, which would have got us through until turn 8, and then lost everything in turn 9, especially turn 10. I had to get right out of the gas before the car went off the track. So yeah, definitely frustrating.
Generally speaking, road course qualifying is so important, but is this maybe one that stands out more than most, where you can make something happen during the race?
It's tough. You know, a lot of it depends on the tire. It's definitely a different tire this weekend than what we've had previous, especially for the red. But yeah, all of them, you know, make a big difference unless you get off strategy or you get lucky with a caution. So yeah, we're gonna have to try a lot from back there.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, this has not been a track. Well, let me put it this way. It's not the first time at this track that Scott Dixon's had troubled qualifyings, but I mean, how many times over the years, T-Bell, have we seen this group, the 9-car, manage to pull phenomenal results on Sunday out of a disappointing Saturday?
All the time. Let's go back down to pit lane with Dylan. Who you got?
Let's chat with Rinus VeeKay first, and then we'll play this radio. So I heard you say you got loose on entry, and was that ultimately the moment that you feel like separated you from advancing?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like we were gonna go through at least. You know, I was way down on my lap time, but then you know, pushing so hard, and it's so hard to get right. And then entry turn 10, you know, I go in there. Previous lap it was fine, and now it just got too loose, and I lost like 3/10 or something. So bummer. You know, I think that was going to be a lap where we could have advanced, and I mean, advancing at this for us in this season, you know, that would be like having a shout out for the pole. So that would have been very nice, but unfortunately, just that one moment. So tough.
It's super tight. You got to be perfect, and any mistake makes a big difference. Now let's run that radio, and you can hear the frustration in Rinus's voice after that small bobble.
Sitting. Get loose on entry at 10. Way to try there. P10.
Okay.
That one, they must have a low battery.
I don't think that's what's causing it, T-Bell. It's a tough one. That was a tough session for the young driver, but another young driver that had what I still think is a pretty positive session is down with Kevin Lee.
I would agree. He was on pace to almost transfer, and if he had, he would have doubled up before he got here what Meyer Shank Racing had done. Only one other time had they advanced to Q2 this season before Linus did it last weekend in Nashville. So how close were you? What ultimately impacted you on that final lap?
I mean, it's as close as it always gets here in IndyCar, especially come qualifying. I think around this place, everybody has it figured out. So we knew that it was going to be tight, and it wasn't a perfect run from our side. I kind of cocked up the first flying lap, and then the second one was good, just not good enough.
What does a week make? What can you do this week now that you've got a race under your belt and there aren't so many concrete walls here to really be able to push and see what you can find?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, still a very hectic weekend. Obviously, only one practice and then straight into quali, and then final practices later today. So we'll see what we can get out of it. Hopefully, we can focus a little bit more on the race. I think we had good pace, but everything else is just something that I need fine-tuning in terms of tire management, fuel saving, pit stop, all of that still. So hopefully, we get final practice to kind of get that on the way.
Yeah, he's looking forward to that final practice because the race was the first time he had done hot stops in IndyCar and the first time in about a year and a half since the Rolex 24 and 22 when he did pit stops.
When he raced in what was then called Indy Lights, now Indy Next, he won the pole position 4 times here and won 2 races. So Linus has good history here, good memories here. IndyCar is a different kettle of fish, but he now has almost a full race. However, he's still learning things. Look, hey, that's not your pit box. Oops, that's my pit box.
Not easy. Sorry, hard to do. It's hard to do when you have 3 pink shirts, sets of pink shirts on pit lane. And you see red shirts can sometimes look pink. It's understandable. They were just in front of him the RLL team was.
Why don't we sell that to Randy Edeka, the chairman of Hy-Vee, say we'll call that the Hy-Vee drive-through.
I don't think the Hy-Vee crew would appreciate a bunch of cars driving through their pit box.
Someone yelled out to us, Hinch, in the break between practice and quali to diff. They said, "Hey, I like your red shoes," and I yelled back, "They're pink."
They are not pink.
More of a
They are
salmon,
pink.
I
They
think.
are
I don't even know what color to call those.
Well, it means
Pacific
you're colorblind.
salmon.
What
They're
sort
red.
of statement are you trying to make?
red.
Bringing a little track and field?
I'm off to Hungary next week for the World Championships,
Nice.
which is going to be good. Team
Is
US
that in Budapest?
In Budapest, and Team USA is in great shape. So you'll see that on the networks of NBC
Is
Universal.
the facility on the Buda or the Pesh side of the river?
I actually don't know, to be honest, but I'm excited to get there. It's going to be great. 9 days of competition, which will be awesome. Okay, so we look forward to who is up next, and it is the best representation for Team RLL, Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing. Jack Harvey, Graham Rahal, Christian Lundgaard, all 3 RLL cars in. There's Graham in the Code 3 Honda, the familiar 15. And we heard from Linus Lundqvist, but credit to Elio Castro Neves for making the Fast 12 on for the first time this year on a road or street course as well. There's Lundgaard, special place for him. He'll be in the mix. Don't count him out. And what is this going to look like? I can't help but think about Joseph Newgarden up against Alex Palou for the championship. How does Palou fare in this session? Hinch, considering that he was at the lower end of that 6 there, does he make it through? Does that give Newgarden any kind of hope? Or if he makes the Fast 6, does that take the air out of the balloon, the Newgarden balloon? There's so much at play here this weekend.
Yeah, there is. I mean, Palou certainly has a good shot at making it in. Just because he was lower down in that session doesn't necessarily mean he got the best lap, doesn't necessarily mean they had the car perfect for it. If you go back to practice, he was consistently in the top 3, top 5. So he's as able and qualified as anybody to make it into the Firestone Fast 6. But again, you just look at how competitive this championship is at the moment, specifically at this racetrack, particularly at this racetrack, because of how many laps everybody has here, the relatively short lap time. It just can be the matter of, you know, that one little mistake like Rinus VK talked about, maybe over driving the entry to one corner a tiny bit and you lose 3/10. That could be 10 spots.
Here we go then. Time for round 2 of qualifying. The Firestone top 12 shootout. 12 drivers. At the end of it, the 6 fastest go through to the end procedure. There's the start line and the timer ticks down. We're underway in this second group of qualifying. McLaughlin is first out there as well. The only Penske to make it through to the top 12 shootout as well. Power and Newgarden starting further down in tomorrow's Gallagher Grand Prix. For Scott McLaughlin, an opportunity to complete the triad for his team, because Power has won here both on the road course and on the oval. Newgarden has won here on the oval and on the road course. Now, obviously, McLaughlin's never won the Indy 500. He's led a couple of laps of it earlier on this year, but this Josh T is going to be an opportunity for him to maybe get a win on the road course. But considering they're the slowest team, practice later on could help them, but going into the race, it's going to be blind.
Yeah, it really, really is. And Scott McLaughlin, he's a little bit twitchy through the chicane now, turning back on towards the oval, the part of the IMS oval that we use up now, and sets a time of a 1:11.7580. That's now a 1:11.4124, and then Palou a 1:11.375. But first time on the board, Rose on third currently, and Lundgaard to the top.
Lundgaard still managing to surprise us then. Rossi too, so that's created the top 6 already. Rossi 1:10.4878. Castro Neves proving his life in the old dog yet. Spider-Man is still there. Now, rain is coming for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and if you are going to be syncing up this weekend, there's a little bit of a double going on at the moment here for the NASCAR, because we have IndyCar and NASCAR on this weekend as the special doubleheader. USRN are taking the NASCAR race later. And all their coverage from the weekend's running will be on USRN on the Mixlr app. The link to all that is in the Linktree description as well. In our bio, as Rossi, top, Lundgaard, Rahal, Cashemas, Palou, Armstrong, but already O'Ward's looking quicker. McLaughlin goes back up into third position. O'Ward takes second, looking faster. McLaughlin 1:11, 1:9.33. O'Ward second, all looking faster still. So some better Delta times coming. Oh, and Grosjean's gone straight on the start of the secondary of the lap. Grosjean's outbraked himself and gone straight through the chicane. And that is a very costly error. He's down in 5th place at the moment, Josh T, but just a little lock-up at the exit.
Yeah, well, Romain Grosjean, he's had a history of going off track and definitely into the barriers. But yeah, that's just a lock-up there for Romain Grosjean. A little bit on the rears and just has to turn in wide and across the grass.
Never good, not good at all. Just turns in, snatches the brake and goes straight through once more. Basically, do that one more time. He couldn't without locking more tyres, creating more debris for himself as well, which is always going to be interesting. So yeah, it's a double weekend here with the JP Motorsports and the combination, of course, with our colleagues over at USRN who we work with across our Formula One content, and we've simulcast some of our commentaries for IndyCar as well. Adam Lemridge will be on both of our commentary teams this weekend. He'll be with us for tomorrow's race for IndyCar, and then on Sunday he'll be on the USRN call with Matthew Owens as well. I believe Matt White and Seth Eves will be all there as well to join you through it. Josh T, are you going to be there on Sunday?
I don't know where I am this weekend. I haven't been asked, so at the moment I guess not.
Mostly drags you in for Xfinity. That's always the way. But always going to be good. Right, cars back in the pit lane then after the first runs. Down to the pits.
Likes this racetrack and understands how to get around it well.
And just looking after those first runs of banker laps, guys, the two sort of least likely candidates here in Q2 are sitting inside the top 6. Castroneves in 4th, DeFrancesco in 6th, ahead of Rahal, Rosenkrantz, Grosjean, Palou, McLaughlin, Armstrong. I mean, that's a great first run on those primary tires.
Sticker red's going on for Graham Rahal, and I have to wonder if the issues with his brake pedal, if those have been addressed, or if the driver of the Code 3 car has just kind of figured out how to deal with it for now until they have more time to assess the situation. But he got it done to advance to round 2. About to find out if he can get to the Firestone Fast 6. The car seems to be fast enough as they make a front wing adjustment, and this poor guy has to watch.
That's a rarity. That's an oddity.
He's down in turn 7, keeping an eye on the balance of the competitors through here. This may be the section of the racetrack that he feels he's struggling with and wants to see what everyone else is doing. And there he is again in giant head form.
Now this young lady, she's made a few appearances on our broadcast.
She has.
I don't know how many giant heads she has.
That is
in her possession, but they're always Will Powers.
70-time pole winner, being a spectator for qualifying. It's not an experience that Will really enjoys, but we love the passion of the IndyCar fans wherever we go.
I like the safety protocol. She even has a tether, a lanyard on the giant head there, so it doesn't blow away.
Yeah,
she can probably foil kite on that thing.
Yeah.
Wonder what it is that's clicked for Devlin DeFrancesco this weekend at this track on this day, because he is headed, if he keeps going the way he's going, he could get his best ever IndyCar career start. It's currently 9th, but that's not on a road or street course. That's on an oval. So let's see if the young Canadian can keep this mojo going. 3.5 minutes left to try and make it into the Firestone Fast 6.
His previous best is 12th at Toronto last year, and Road America 12th this year on the road course, road and street circuit. So he's got a good shot.
It's interesting. I like the strategy of actually setting him out early and giving him kind of that guaranteed clear track. A lot of times the engineers will try to reverse engineer it to have you be the last guy across the line, but you run the risk of cars backing up into you.
Not to mention the possibility of a few sprinkles forming in the next couple of minutes, and Devlin being the first to get a fast lap in. That's another really easy way to lock yourself into the Fast 6. Kevin on pit lane right now. I know you're local. I look off to the west here from the 9th floor of the Pagoda, and If it does rain, I think it's going to be sprinkly. What's it look like to you?
I don't see it raining in this session. Maybe still 15 minutes or so. I frankly was surprised when I did look at the app and it said rain starting in 15 minutes, which sometimes is correct, but you can kind of get a sense when it's about to rain, and I don't feel that now. It might rain before the Fast 6 is over, but this session is fine.
Yeah, that radar backing up.
Yeah, radar just coming through. We might be the Firestone Fast 6 that gets wet, but this session, with 2 minutes to go, it's going to be perfectly fine. Hello to Jeff, who's listening in and watching in as well. Hello, Jeff. Here at IMS, 2 minutes to go on the board. As you can see, Rossi looking fastest at the moment. Let me just check the window projection screen that it is all okay. Yep, it is all okay, which is fantastic news. And look at that for Marcus Armstrong. Jumps right up to the top. A 1:10.211 as the fastest delta. Here comes Romain Grosjean. 10th fastest at the moment for Andretti. Only goes 7th. Still not improving on the delta times he needs. So this is, again, a struggling qualifying session. Fingers crossed there will be some change going forward. Armstrong, oh, look at that. Armstrong top. Award second fastest, though. And Rossi in third. So the McLarens are looking strong. I didn't expect the McLarens to be strong here. And Rossi's gone top. 1:10.0124. Josh, the McLarens have come out of nowhere once again.
Maybe the McLaren shirt. I don't know. It seems across all series, every single time I get the McLaren shirt out, it always goes incredibly well, or it goes incredibly
wrong,
badly.
Yeah. It's one of the two, isn't it?
Yeah, it always is. But Rossi, 1:10.0124. Di Francesco goes second.
Great time now.
1:10.2098.
Armstrong third, Award, and that's a little bit wide there from Alex Palou, who is 11th fastest at the moment, comes across the timing line, goes up into 4th position. Grosjean goes second, so Grosjean's found a lot more time, 1:10.1486. Here comes the 6 of Rosenquist in the McLaren, and it's looking to be okay so far. Was involved in the red flag crash a week ago at the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, and Rosenquist only manages to improve to 7th place. Here is 006. This is Cash Neves in the 06 car, coming across the line and stays in 9th position. Usually you're not allowed to keep the same numbers, but they've allowed it this week, this season as well, with the 6 and the 06. Lundgaard to the top. Lundgaard fastest. Rahal fastest on a 1:09.9837.
Wow.
That was impressive. The Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing 1-2 at the moment. Devlin Di Francesco makes it through as well in the Andretti. Jack Harvey's out of it at the moment. Cross the line becomes Armstrong, doesn't improve. Palou is going to risk here if he crosses the line and doesn't improve. Palou hasn't made it. Palou has not made it through into the Firestone Fast 6. Cross the line comes Scott McLaughlin. He will take no further part either. So Rahal, Lundgaard, Rossi, Grosjean, Award and Devlin Di Francesco, the 6 to go through. Armstrong, Harvey, Palou, Rosenquist, McLaughlin, Cash Neves out of it. But that is a big surprise. The likes of Palou, Rosenquist, McLaughlin not progressing further into the session. Bigger surprise, Rahal, Lundgaard, and I would even say Devlin Di Francesco going through. That was good, Josh.
And of course, Lundgaard made the Fast 6 for the Indy 500 qualifying in May as well. So did in the top 6 Award and as well Rossi.
Yeah.
Didn't make it in May. So the Fast 6 in May was Lundgaard, Rosenquist, Palou, Harvey, Award and Kirkwood, and I believe the only ones making it through
Lundgaard, Rossi and Award.
Today was Award and Lundgaard.
Yeah, Rossi is in there. He is third, so Rossi's got through too. Not bad then. Coming up on the Firestone Fast 6, row 4 we'll see Marcus Armstrong and Jack Harvey. Row 5 is Alex Palou and Felix Rosenquist. Row 6 is Scott McLaughlin and Helio Castroneves. They're the ones who did not advance to round 2 of the Gallagher Grand Prix. Let's pass over to NBC then, or Peacock at the moment, for some interviews from the people.
On the start.
It's certainly in.
Well, just as soon as we get the information from them, that is, to pass down to them in the pit lane. We're around about 10 minutes away from the launch. Maybe less than that, 5 minutes, I reckon, until the Firestone Fast 6, because we've got Xfinity practice to come.
You are seeing correct. Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan. Yes, 1 and 2 from that session. Will it stay that way as far as when the grid is fixed? Great effort from 3 different teams there.
Well, I just can't get over what an incredible rebound RLL has made since the start of the season. I mean, none of us would have projected that they would have, won a race on a street circuit like Lundgaard did at Toronto. And here, it's provisional, but to lock out the front row in round 2 at least as they go to Fast 6 and now on to used tires as Devlin DeFrancesco rightfully pumped up in the TrueBar car. He's ready to fight for his first ever NTT pole award. Dylan?
Helio Castroneves has climbed out of the Meyershank 06. So let's talk about your lap first. You got out, you shook your head. I think there was more on the table, wasn't there?
Yeah, I kind of like overcooked the tires on the first run. I should have took it easy a little bit with the Firestone tires. And then second one, when I went for it, the rears start snapping a little bit, and it just quite couldn't make it. I know we would have something, obviously not for the pole position, but for sure something a little bit more forward. Unfortunately, not a lot of people might not know, but we have a 6 penalty grid because of changing engine. So we would be our best qualifier for sure of the year, except from Io. But looks like we're getting better and better all the time.
And let's talk about this morning too. The future is bright for this organization. You're a minority stakeholder now, so exciting times ahead for you.
Big time. I can't thank enough again. Jim Meyer, Mike Shank, of course, Liberty Group, the whole entire organization partners that we have as well, because they were able to accept me. I'm thrilled. Obviously, it's something road that's going to be completely new chapter in my career. But I want to remind everyone, I'm not retiring, okay? I'm still going to be able to race a lot of other series as well, SRX, IMSA, NASCAR, Stock Car Brazil, whatever it is, we would never know. But for sure, Indy 500 is in our focus right now. We're going to go for Drive for 5 for sure, and we will get it. So now, Tom Blomqvist better call me boss now, because that's the only way I accept him in the team.
Yeah, make sure you remind him of that too. Passion to win still burns as fiery as ever for Elio. Kevin.
Let's talk to the championship leader. What a strange day so far. No Penske's, no Ganassis in the Firestone Fast 6. What were you guys missing?
A little bit of everything. Honestly, we had the great car, just missed a little bit of speed and also didn't really nail the lap. And here it's, you lose a lot of positions if you don't nail your lap. So, yeah, confident for tomorrow, but obviously a bit bummed not being on the Fast 6.
Not an awful position, though. What can you do from the race there, especially when you consider big picture? I assume you still look at it like, hey, we can take some chances. We've got a nice cushion in the championship.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting P9 tomorrow, right? So it's not a bad starting position. We can do a lot from there, especially being such a long race and with the strategy. So, yeah, we're not big fans of the alternate tires, so hopefully it's going to be a black tire race tomorrow and we can make up some positions.
There you go. That's one of the answers we're always looking for. What is the tire of preference? We know what it is for the championship leader and the winner of this last event here in May.
So the championship 2, Palou and Newgarden start 9th and 19th. That'll be a story. Now, Elio Castroneves mentioned that he had a grid spot penalty, a 6th position penalty. He's not the only one. Dale Coyne Racing with HMDs, David Malukas does as well. And then this car here from Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan, Jack Harvey, they were all for unapproved engine changes for the last race on the streets of Nashville, Tennessee. But to Townsend's point and words, what a turnaround it has been for Team RLL. The frustration continues for Team RLL.
This place doesn't come easy, and it doesn't just happen.
We can't really run again unless Jack bumps us.
The stress of bump day is absolutely real. Just ready for this day to be over.
If we found a quarter mile an hour on average, that would put us in the race.
Is he in the 500 or is he out?
How tough was this week for you to go through?
I knew from the start we were in trouble.
You, my friend, are in the Indianapolis 500.
It's an amazing feeling and an awful feeling at the same time.
Graham Rahal at his home track, reminding everyone that he still has race-winning performance.
Nice effort, guys. Front row.
Everybody's just done an amazing job keeping their heads down in the midst of a tough season.
Guys, what did we just do?
One of the greatest bounce-back performances we've ever seen as a team.
Christian Lundgaard is an IndyCar race winner.
Earlier this season and even last year at this point, we were nowhere near this, so I'm just extremely happy for everybody right now.
Quite the story, isn't it? And credit to the team for rallying, and they made certain changes, and for everybody, the massive morale shift to come here to the Brickyard and to see their cars top two going into the Firestone Fast 6. There's no guarantee that they'll start on the front row. We've got the toughest part, the most exciting part of qualifying on a road or street course, this Firestone Fast 6 showdown, which will be interesting. One young driver who narrowly missed out on being in this Select 6 is Marcus Armstrong.
And he'll start 7th tomorrow. It is his best career qualifying effort in his rookie campaign here in IndyCar. So we talked a lot about you coming back to this racetrack now for the first time. It's the first time you've gotten to do that this year. Has that been something that's made you more comfortable?
Yeah, for sure. It was nice to prepare for this race, not knowing what to expect. So we sort of came here with a good idea of where we wanted to start in terms of car setup and also, you know, driving from a driving point of view. So that was quite reassuring. It's a shame that we missed out on the Fast 6 by the smallest of margins, but that's how IndyCar is sometimes.
What will be the challenge for you starting 7th tomorrow? That's a winnable position with all the strategies, but it's always a challenge.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? The weather could be a bit dodgy. You name it, anything can happen. So there's a bit of a question mark over the tyre compounds, how they will last. So we'll see this afternoon in the warm-up, but I expect a chaotic race as usual, and we'll try to make the best of it.
Marcus Armstrong going to start 7th tomorrow. He's the best of the Chip Ganassi cars.
And he missed by
less than 1/1000th of a second. That's right. We don't actually display the 10,000th, but thanks to Russ Thompson, it is 8/10,000ths of a second. I don't even know. I mean, that could be a cough from somebody in the grandstands. Hitch. That is nothing.
That could be a fan, you know, fanning themselves from the heat in the grandstand, and the residual air made its way through the fence onto the front straight and just slowed down the 11 a tick.
Keep this in perspective as well. It's 8/10,000ths of a second, around 2.5 miles.
And you're going to need every bit of that as Devlin DiFrancesco going for his first ever IndyCar pole. As you see, the IMS road course has been pretty favorable to first-time pole winners, going all the way back to 2014 with Sebastian Saavedra.
That race didn't go so well at the start.
No, it was a bit of a hiccup.
He had a great starting spot. Didn't make it very far, unfortunately. That was back in the standing start days.
Was that our last standing start?
I believe it was.
For a reason.
No, that's not true. We finished that season, but we
Toronto, I think we had one
Houston
that year.
as well. Or that was maybe earlier in the year.
Houston was the last one.
It gets a little foggy, doesn't it?
It does, as you get older.
Yeah,
I'm getting there.
The booth yields a bit foggy.
So there are those in this group who have plenty to boast about as far as Firestone Fast 6 appearances this year. And then you get down to those who haven't had many. This is only Alexander Rossi's second on a road or street course this year. Graham Rahal's second this year. For Devlin DiFrancesco, as we said, his maiden Firestone Fast 6 appearance. So
it's going to be a really interesting session, and we are all go now because this is going to start 6 minutes of running to see who will be on top. And away we go then for the Firestone Fast 6 for the Gallagher Grand Prix. Rahal Lundgaard, Rossi, Grosjean Award, and Devlin DiFrancesco all inside to see who can set it. Now, ideally, Josh, they'll do one banker, maybe come in the pitch, new tyres, straight back out there, but they're not going to be holding like we saw in the previous session. This is a very tight end to the session. They've got to be straight on going.
Yeah, 6 minutes. They don't have time to hold. They've just got to go out there, go straight out there, and get the job done. But, well, the clouds, the sky getting a little bit darker over the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We might get a little bit of sprinkling and a little bit of drops of rain to the end of the session, but I think we might just miss it.
In that case, these laps at the start of the session could be the most important that we get to witness. So they've still got to push it incredibly hard. As we're seeing a little bit of a sliding movement now coming from Pato O'Ward. Keeps on the deck, keeps on the accelerator. But it is O'Ward first fastest, and it's a 1:11 dead across the timing zones in all 4 sectors. But Grosjean a 1:10.92.10. Lundgaard third, 1:11 3:7.05. Devlin DiFrancesco's up. Lundgaard is faster as well, apparently, according to the Delta. Devlin DiFrancesco's first gambit puts him to the top. So 1:10.81.93 across the Deltas to 4 decimal places of a second up here as well in IndyCar. Lundgaard across, he's going fast as he heads down towards turn number 1 of the braking zone. It's tighter entry here than it was back in the Formula 1 days. The layout adjusted for MotoGP, and it's the one that IndyCar run with, but they go the F1 direction. MotoGP went the Indy 500 direction for their race and confused everybody for a couple of years. Lundgaard fourth at the moment as we head down towards the braking zone into turn 6 and 7, flicks it through, and now past this new section of the track, which is a very fast chicane. Used to be, of course, a little bit of a low bumper round as there's a giant, I don't know if it's a bee or fly, that's right around me in the commentary area. It's buzzed off. Lundgaard to the top. 1:10.58.58. Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing going top once more. Pit road.
To the pit lane, he's changing from an alternate set of used Firestones to another set of used alternates, but he said horrible rear locking. He's really frustrated. He's being told right now, I think we're going to be able to sort this. They made a front wing adjustment. It still sounds like there's some optimism that Pato O'Ward might be able to fight for it.
By the way, for anybody with any issues, there is a half-hour practice session later this afternoon, which acts as morning warm-up. No morning warm-up on race day, so last practice session this afternoon.
Yep, 30 minutes later on, that will be taken you through by IndyCar Radio Network as the JB Motorsports team only with you for qualifying the races this weekend, just as we're trying to lighten the load of what we've got coming, and the IndyCar race as well. Road courses, unless it rains in a road course race, they're not exactly the most exciting to commentate on. Even in Formula 1 days, it was quite hard to have a good race around here. 2000 was good, 2001 was good, 2002 was dramatic because of Ferrari and the Williams is spinning in as well. 2003, no, that too was a good race. 2004 was a good race. 2005 was...
That happened.
Yeah, but actually, I count that as a good race, not in terms of the fact that it was a 6-car race and all that. It, from a journalist point of view, it was a gold mine to commentate and broadcast on because it was so unique. So that was an interesting race in 05. 06 was quite good, and 07 was quite... Actually, we had quite good IndyCar race. We had quite good United States Grand Prix when it was Indianapolis for Formula 1. So why it never caught on? I think 2005 was the reason. Across the line then. Lundgaard still top. Andretti Autosport just tweeted Dev, because it is Devlin DiFrancesco P2 at the moment, but it is Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing, Christian Lundgaard, who's on provisional pole position for the second time. This should be quite fun. Now, Josh T, who had pole back in May?
Are you ready for a absolutely brilliant response?
Yes.
It was someone who participated in the Fast Six.
Well, who was it? It must. Well, yeah, I know that, but you know? I haven't got the outcome in yet.
I am looking.
That's not your line. It's we are checking. We are checking. Rahal darting through as well. 38 seconds left on the clock now.
Lundgaard did.
So I thought it was Lundgaard. Good. Lundgaard's been demoted, though, from pole to fourth because it's O'Ward and Rossi taking the top honours. Grosjean's gone third. Rahal goes second. Lundgaard back to the top. 1:10.2286. Thought it was Lundgaard who had pole once again. Our race winner from Toronto. Looking good once more for Christian Lundgaard. He had pole position, 2 poles, 1 win in his IndyCar career. Is it about to be 3 poles, 1 win, and 2 at the Indianapolis road course? The checkered flag is out. Rahals on an improvement lap time. Devlin DiFrancesco from P6 doesn't, only improves to 5th. Grosjean down in 6th place. Here is on board with the Lucas Oil. This is Rossi in the number 7 McLaren, Azaro McLaren. Jumping over the curves. He's a 10th down. He'll take the checkered flag. Is it good enough? Rossi goes 2nd. Grosjean, he's 6th.
Look at Rahal.
Rahal's flying. This will be really good from Graham Rahal. He was fastest this morning in the practice session. Does he take pole position across the line? He does! He's done it! Fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. Graham Rahal makes it a Rahal Lanigan Racing 1-2 with Rahal ahead of Lundgaard. But after the misery of May comes the excitement and awesomeness of August for Graham Rahal. And Armstrong, hang on a minute, what's happened to the timing screen? Timing screen's gone a bit wiggly there. It's Rahal, Lundgaard, Rossi, O'Ward, Devlin DiFrancesco and Romain Grosjean our running order. Well, that is an excitement. Now, does the Premier League return tonight or tomorrow? That's the question. Because I've just got a message saying it'll be back tonight. Interesting. So, Graham Rahal gets us off and running. He'll take the green flag.
Versus Manchester City at 8 p.m.
Ah, lovely. Graham Rahal, our 4th career pole start for him. Just 4 poles in his career. And after not qualifying for the Indy 500, he's taken it here today. His running order then. It's Rahal from Lundgaard, Rahal Lanigan Racing 1-2, Rossi, O'Ward, DiFrancesco and Grosjean all in the mix. Josh T, what are you looking forward to ahead of the race tomorrow?
Well, it looks like it's going to be a good old classic IMS race on the road course, but weather is looming for tomorrow. The radars are saying rain. Will we get it? We'll have to wait until tomorrow. But on the just quickly on the topic of football, it's getting interesting as Harry Kane has arrived in Munich.
Oh, so has he left? Is he leaving? Oh dear. He won't be allowed to play for England, of course, if he does. So that's a talking point. Okay, right. There we go. Thumbs up from Christian Lundgaard to Graham Rahal. And congratulations between the two with a nice high five. Graham Rahal's on pole position for the Gallagher Grand Prix. Final practice underway, 9 to 9:30 tonight. The IndyCar radio team will take you through it. Myself and Josh T will see you later on. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.